G'day everyone, I am Ep.2 and welcome to episode number 2 of the TriPoint podcast. As per usual, in saying that it's only been one episode, I will be joined by my co-host Kinunners.
Hello, it's me, I'm back again.
Oh my gosh, what a surprise.
Oh my
So, imagine if that was surprising at all.
Yeah, no, I just show up and I'm like, guys, I've been away for 10 years, I'm back now.
for 1 week.
For 1 week, yeah.
For one single
Time moves
week.
very quickly over here.
And we have a problem this week as well, though.
So it's Australian time zone.
Yeah, we have a problem.
Oh, what's that?
I don't have any relevant topics for this week.
Well, I guess we just ramble.
Because there's not much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Basically, a little bit over the weekend and such, we were together a lot of the time. Therefore, any of the relevant topics that came up during them, we probably spoke about.
Probably.
I think the only relevant thing that I can think of like Minecraft or something is like the mace is in Minecraft now.
Yeah, the mace.
Do you know how that works though?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's pretty neat. It like you can hit the ground and it will do like a basic amount of damage, and then you can jump off stuff and hit the ground and it will do, or hit the enemy and it will do more damage depending on the height that you jump off. It is like a gravity hammer kind of.
Minecraft gravity hammer.
Except like, yeah, depending on what height you jump, the more damage it does, which means you can one hit the warden and the wither.
That is
theoretically
very interesting.
In practice, it might be a little bit difficult to jump off something extremely high and hit the wither. However, like
I was gonna say, you just walk up to the wither and you're like, hey, so you mind coming down to the ground for a little bit?
Yeah, it's just like the thing is though, is like if you jump off that height and you miss, like the fall damage gets you.
Yeah,
it's like that's not gonna help.
Unless,
yeah, other than that though, I don't think there's anything relevant as such. Therefore, we need to choose a topic. Do you have any topics to go before I list out?
Not particularly.
No.
Unless
okay.
I can find something on Reddit.
Oh, that is a good idea for different things. I do have a topic that we can do though.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking we could talk about our, I guess, controversial games that we either like or dislike that others do not and such.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one.
There's 2 of them in particular that we always talk about.
Is there?
Yeah. I say controversial, like a lot of these like we'll like and then other people will like, however they're not talked about that much.
Yeah, they're not like
and
all the big fancy
There's
games.
one that I've covered a fair amount on the
We have the same thing with
channel.
anime too.
Sorry?
We have the same thing with anime too.
Oh, we can talk about that as well.
No, I'm just saying like we like watch all of like the smaller series and things like that. We have ones where we're like, yeah, this is great, and everyone's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what is this?
It's like, what?
All the anime that's
Why don't
rated
you
like
watch Attack
5
on
on my
Titan or
anime
something?
list
It's
that we're like,
nah.
this is great.
Yeah.
Oh golly. I was thinking about we could start with like Scarlet Nexus and then Fire Emblem Engage.
Nah.
And work from
Thought
there.
about Fire Emblem Gauge.
We'll start with Scarlet Nexus because I'll go over it briefly because I've talked about it way too much on the channel.
In the past.
Basically, Scarlet Nexus is amazing and it deserves better.
Agreed. Very much so.
There we go. That was simple. Move it.
Yeah. It needs a sequel. Sequel? It needs a sequel.
It really needs a sequel. I would like a sequel.
To be fair, I feel like... Because... Who is your favourite character? Do you have a favourite character?
Ara.
Yeah, okay. It is Arashi.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Arashi or she was just like the most light. Well, that is a favourite.
I don't
or
know.
she was just like, you know...
Arashi is probably my favorite. I like speedy things in general.
Because I think my one is a bit of the out there one.
Mr. Fubuki.
The other spring.
The other spring.
Everyone forgets about Fubuki.
I feel like Arashi had to have had the spring name come up with first because it means she would have had a spring in her step.
Yeah, I think that would have made more sense.
Considering a lot of their last names
Fubuki
had
came
stuff to do
second.
with things.
Well, Fubuki's first name is where his one is.
Yeah, that's true. But like, what was I gonna say about it? Yeah, no, definitely needs a sequel. Should I explain to the viewers my ideas for a sequel?
If you want to, I don't see why not.
Oh, okay. Story time with me.
Story time.
Basically, with the sequel, the ending left off. For anybody who hasn't played the game, this is spoilers.
Yeah, welcome.
The ending left off with one of the main characters wanting to go to the moon and investigating, and the other staying down to work with politics. Basically,
Kasane the astronaut.
Kasane the astronaut, yes. And my idea was like the next game. I've seen a lot of things online where people are saying they should only move to like Kasane's view in the second game.
Oh, there's a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people who like Yuito's would seem really boring.
I liked Yuito's campaign better, in my opinion. Anyway,
I think that's just because you like Yuito more.
probably.
I prefer Kasane, so it doesn't.
I find Kasane's one because there's not much like none of the characters in Kasane's group, like apart from maybe Kyoka, have like much emotion towards things.
That is fair. Yeah, that's.
Like Shiden is like overly angry emotional,
Shiden's overly emotional.
and
He
like
needs to calm down.
and then Kagura is like fake emotion.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's going off a little bit off topic. Anyway, yeah, Kasane is gonna go to the moon. I think the next game should start with Kasane on the moon, and Yurito getting maybe the tutorial happening on the moon with Kasane. I think would be neat.
Yeah.
And then Yurito getting a message or like some sort of thing, like what are they called?
The SOS.
SOS. That's
Is
it.
that what they are? They're SOSs?
Yeah. And then you spend I guess like the
Distressful.
first half of the game, on Yuito's side, I guess. Instead of like having two different sides of the story, maybe mixing both sides into one longer story. Might be
Yeah.
better. And
like
then
how it,
yeah.
switches.
Then Yurito assembles a team of old and new characters
Yeah.
and flies to the moon and has to help save them, and along the way meet more characters and rescue and all that sort of thing. And I reckon it could work well from there.
Well, because I always thought that on the moon with Kasane, they should meet up with one of Kagura's descendants.
Yeah. That would be
interesting.
that'd be really interesting. Although it has been like how many years? 2000 or something like that.
That doesn't mean he can't have descendants.
How many descendants at that point?
Yeah, that's true.
If
I was
you
thinking
think-
one person, but yeah.
If you think even being generous and saying 2 generations per 100 years, that's a lot.
It is a lot. That's true.
That's like 40 generations.
Unless it was someone else who was kept in a cryo.
And that
thing.
his daughter was put into cryo afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not meant to be
CBV
talking
2.0.
about the stories as much here,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
because people don't come to listen to that. That can be its whole video on its own.
Yeah, it really can be.
Yeah, I think Scarlet Nexus should get a sequel. It's a great game. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough.
It's like the underdog of RPGs, you know?
And in my opinion, it is like a brain punk version of a Tales of game, basically.
It is. Made by the same people.
Yeah, made by the same people. Anyway, Fire Emblem Engage.
Engage.
I'll let you
Now,
lead this one.
I love Three Houses. Don't get me wrong. But I think the real thing that Engage brings along is the graphics and design.
Oh, definitely. My favorite thing in Engage is comparing the cutscenes to Three Houses.
Yeah. The story is mediocre at best, and that's perfectly fine.
It's
But-
like a bad anime.
It is like a bad anime.
It's great.
Looks really nice. Not great on the character development side. Usually.
I mean, you got some characters.
That's what I said, usually.
You've got the ones that weren't expected, like Hortensia, which actually have like really,
Hortensia.
really detailed side stories and everything like that,
She came out of nowhere.
which was hilarious.
Didn't even
to
like
see.
her in the beginning. In the end, I was like, wow, she's actually really great. Anyway.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, hasn't seen a video of me talking about it before, or didn't listen to the last podcast, basically, Kinunners played the game, and I sat there and watched it like it was a really long anime, and that was fun.
Yeah. You were the observer.
It was great.
Yeah.
And it's a very controversial game, however. I think especially after Three Houses, where like people,
Yeah.
where people like really liked Three Houses and got into the series with Three Houses, and then
That's what happened with me.
then Engage happened. I'm the opposite. I was like, I got into the series with Engage.
Yeah, you saw Three Houses and was like, it's too dark and dreary and political, and you saw Engage
Yeah,
and was
I
like,
remember
yes,
I
the
tried.
fantasy.
I sat down and watched it every now and then. I was like, I cannot with this game.
Whereas I was the opposite. I saw Three Houses and I was like,
The
yes.
Three Houses issue with me is like it's way too dark and dreary. There's some like technical problems that I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, that's
There's
fair.
a lot of things, and yeah, like I guess like yeah, mainly the overall tone. Didn't really do
Oh, I
anything.
have the biggest controversial opinion from Three Houses of all.
Oh, that you don't like Edelgard?
No. I actually do like Edelgard,
Oh,
just not as much. My opinion is that I like all three of the lords.
okay.
Everyone always has one. They're always like, I'm on this one person's side, and I'm just here like, what if I was in the middle? Just not with the church.
I feel to be very fair to everyone else at the least is like the game does allow for discussion over whose favorite is who.
Yeah, and every character has some form of nuance as well. Like, it's not
Yeah.
completely black
A
and
lot of
white, I
people's
guess.
favorite as well is going to be like the one they started with.
Yeah, which is not how it was for me at all.
Yeah.
Started with Aelgard, ended up liking Claude the most.
Oh golly.
But I like all three.
I think Dimitri is probably my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Something about him seems a little bit off to me personally. Anyways.
Well, don't worry, you share opinions with Felix on that one.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, no, I then back to Engage. I don't know how we ended up on a not controversial game and then putting controversial opinions on that game.
Anyways, yeah, moving back to Engage.
Back to Engage. Yeah, I much prefer like looking at the cutscenes and how they're animated comparison to Three Houses, like night and day. Like Three Houses, I've always had this thing with like 3D anime, I guess it can be called, where a lot of the time they use really low frame rates,
Yeah, and it looks really
and
like,
it makes it feel like
it's somewhat jarring in a way.
I've never been a huge fan of stop motion either, and it makes it feel like stop motion in a way.
We'll see. Yeah, I get that. I'm a person who actually kind of does like stop motion in its instances where it's done really well, but
I like Pokemon
I can
Concierge.
understand.
That's a stop motion
Nice.
series. Anyway, yeah, no, and then like looking at Engage, where they're all animated like at full frame rates and like very well animated, especially in like the pre-rendered cutscenes and everything like that.
Yeah,
Amazing.
they have some good cutscenes.
I really look like that. There was
That's it. It's not the last one, is it? But it's the one before the last one.
Yeah, I was about to say there's
The one
like
I'm
the
thinking of?
cutscene where
Yeah.
Alir is falling and it plays in like very smooth frames and like everything's floating and moving around. It's like, oh,
It's really nice.
amazing looking. And it's like Scarlet Nexus. The Scarlet Nexus's main
Yeah.
cutscenes are animated amazingly.
Yeah.
And this anime should have been a 3D anime animated in that style. in
Yeah,
my
its
opinion.
anime should have looked like the game.
I'm
But
not
it
even a
didn't.
huge fan of 3D anime. However, the Scarlet Nexus's one should have done that in my opinion, because
Yeah.
in my opinion they nailed like what 3D anime should look like in the game. Personally,
They did. They did a good job of it. And then the anime came along and they were just like, nah.
it's probably what say what these like genres of games are for people who don't know. I imagine more
RPGs.
people know what Fire Emblem is. Like,
Oh, probably. But it's also Australia.
yeah,
I met like
it's-
one person in my life who knows what it is.
It's fair. Scarlet Nexus is a action RPG in the veins of like a Tales of series game, which is why I compared it to that earlier.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, as much as people really, really like Tales of Arise, in my opinion, Scarlet Nexus is better, personally.
I like both of them. I think I prefer the characters in Scarlet Nexus.
Fair.
And also generally the overall story. Arise is like your very typical like fantasy, you know. You know what I mean? It's just
More
like
controversial
there's
opinion time.
lords.
Yay.
I love Arise. But I also think it's really basic.
I think for a Tales of game, it's extremely basic.
Oh yeah. Considering we played Vesperia afterwards, and we're just like, what is going on?
Yeah. Vesperia's like story is like leagues ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even though
God.
half of it's
And
not
I
even
feel
really
like
about the main
I
character.
feel like personally to me, it might not be for you or many others. However, personally to me, Scarlet Nexus's story easily stands toe to toe with Vesperia's.
It's definitely up there.
I think Scarlet Nexus as well has some of the similar problems to Engage, where a lot of the side characters, their stories are in their like supports.
Yeah, there's a lot of issue where it's like very solely focused on like the main two, and then
Yeah,
the others is like, oh yeah, we have these Bond episodes in the side here. It can
where
be really awkward sometimes
most people,
because of how they're done.
yeah, a lot of people aren't going to watch them basically, and it's like
Yeah,
I think that's another like problem with having such large casts. I believe, by what I understand, Three Houses did it fairly well. However, like
there was still issue with Three Houses, but I think they fixed or at least helped a lot of that in Hopes.
yeah, I think the
But I haven't
biggest
played
difference.
Hopes, so
Yeah, I think the biggest difference more is like like Scarlet Nexus and Engage are not ensemble pieces like Three Houses is. Realistically,
yeah.
like Three Houses is more about like about everyone. Like that's its whole thing.
Three Houses is about its characters,
Yeah, where
so to speak.
Engage and Scarlet Nexus is more about its story and the main characters of those stories rather than the characters
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is
that's
which is a different take. That's more what it is. Whether it's better or worse
Yeah,
is completely subjective, I think.
that's completely it's up to the person.
Of like,
I
yeah.
like all of the above.
And I don't have a segue for this. However, another controversial opinion we have is Halo
Let's
4.
That is the segue. Oh,
I know.
Halo 4. You know, I got asked recently by a friend of mine what my favorite Halo game was. And I was like, this is going to sound really, really strange, but it's Halo 4.
Yeah.
I can understand that it is terrible in a lot of aspects, but I also grew up with the game, so you can't take it from me.
I think the biggest thing for us is we can see, like, even though we like these games that other people may not like, we can see where
Yeah.
the problems are.
It's very clear where it's like, oh, there's a fault here.
Like,
You know?
people could start, like saying, like, look, there's a problem here, here, and here, and here. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, that's what makes it bad, and it's like,
we're,
okay.
we're quite aware that the problems are here.
I know
Like
that.
the game, though.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. Yeah, no, Halo
It's
4 is
like-
my second favorite Halo game after CE, basically.
Yeah.
And
That's fair.
it is, I like it. I like it a lot. I don't
CE
know.
was your first game as well, though, wasn't it?
Sorry?
CE was your first game as well, though, wasn't it?
I mean,
The
kind
first
of.
one you played.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, whereas 4 was mine.
There was a brief period of time where I'd played, I think it was Halo 2 or Halo 3's multiplayer before CE
Oh yeah.
at a
That's
friend's
multiplayer,
house.
though.
Other than that, though, like,
Yeah.
then I played through CE on the Gearbox PC port. I'm going to keep coming up with all the controversial things at the moment.
Yes.
I like the Gearbox PC port. I know people don't. However,
It's fine.
it was my version.
Look, we already said we like Halo 4. Can't get worse than that.
Yeah, the Gearbox
Actually,
PC
you
port
could
of
get
Halo
worse than that.
CE, and then Halo 4 was after that. Kind of. However, like Halo 4 didn't really stay. Like Halo 4's built its way back up to being second place for me over time.
Yeah.
Like I went through phases where like Halo 2 was at the
It was
top,
Halo
and then
2,
Halo
I
3 and
remember
all that
Halo
sort of
2.
thing. It was like, yeah, Halo 3 was like second,
I think
and then sorry.
The other controversial part is that both of us, at least, have never been like we like it, but we've never been the biggest fans of Reach.
Yeah, Reach. I don't know. That is like controversial on a bigger scale. I think there's a lot of people who
Yeah.
aren't the biggest fans of Reach.
I think it's because it's too Call of Duty like.
Yeah,
And I actually like Call of Duty. I don't mind it at all. I also grew up playing that.
it's funny because a lot of people say that about Halo 4 as well.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, I mean, you got loadouts and you got like streaks and all that sort of thing, which is
Oh
Call
yeah,
of
that's
Duty.
true.
Halo 4 is very Call of Duty. However, like I think, in my opinion, at the very least, it has a lot of things that make it distinctly like a Halo Call of Duty.
It's still like you can tell by looking at it. It's still like, oh yeah, that's Halo.
Yeah. My biggest problems with Reach is, for some reason, I don't really like how it controls a lot of the time.
That's fair.
I feel like a lot of the time, like, I could be doing something, I feel like I'm doing it right, and it doesn't work for something.
It's just like, nah.
Yeah. And then, like, I'm not the biggest fan of its, like, grittiness.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a
And cat driving.
That's a reoccurring thing with me. Oh, and cat
And
driving.
cat driving. Never let cat drive.
You know, the grittiness factor is always a reoccurring thing for myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've never been a big fan of Gears of War or anything like that either. It's like,
Yeah, Gears of War I've never been into. I played one of them, only briefly.
any sort of like grey, dark environments have never been my thing as such. Even in like Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers is a game.
I still haven't finished that, but I've seen the last boss.
I feel like Sonic Frontiers is a game that every time I play it, I feel a little bit worse about it.
It's like, it looked good, but there's also these very prominent issues.
The glaring issues in the game break it a lot for me a lot of the time.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, like I really enjoy it. It's controversial to myself even. Like,
Yeah.
like I really enjoy the game. However, like every time I play it, all I see is like a lot of flaws stacking up on top of each other.
Yeah. There's geckos coming after you for that opinion.
Geckos?
There's a gecko outside somewhere.
Oh, okay. I can't
I don't
hear
know,
it.
he was making a noise. Assuming he's coming after you though.
It might be heard. Who knows? Anyway, and then like our Halo 5 opinions. We can all agree that Halo 5 is Halo 5.
Yeah.
However,
I think that's the best.
I really enjoyed playing Halo 5.
Oh yeah, I didn't mind playing it.
And I really
There are
like...
definitely bits and pieces that are a bit odd though.
Yeah. And I really like Warzone. I know a lot of people don't like it as much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know there are people who do like it as well. I don't know. I always like that like huge like... I don't know. Big team battle in Halo Infinite is not my favorite thing in the world. Where I think Warzone was a slightly better version of that. Maybe?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I liked Warzone.
Oh, I know something else. Our controls in Halo.
Our controls. Yeah. I don't know if that's like such a
Is that controversial?
I don't know.
I think it's just controversial between us because
I think it's like each one of us in our family uses a different control style for Halo.
Yeah. It's all because we got bored in Halo 4 and we were just like, you know what? Let's just make this interesting. Everybody switch up their style.
Yeah, basically.
That's literally what happened.
Yeah. I use Recon because it's most like the older games and that's what I prefer.
Yeah. I use Boxer. I saw it and was like, that seems interesting.
Boxer, yeah.
And now I'm just stuck with it.
People, that feels wrong.
I use B to sprint.
That feels wrong as well. I have to play with like a claw grip to use sprint and everything like that. It's funny. Oh, really? And like, there's a lot of people who use bumper jumper specifically because then they don't have to move their thumb from the joystick to jump.
Yeah.
Which like takes away a little bit of that, like I guess competitive side. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it adds more competitive side. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Yeah. Knew what you meant.
Is there any other games that we like that other people don't? I know one for myself.
I don't know.
I really like Sonic and the Black Knight.
Oh.
Which people do not.
Yeah.
And another way to make people a little bit more upset is it is my second favorite Sonic game.
Ooh, don't tell them that.
After Unleashed, of all things.
Yeah, after Unleashed.
Oh golly. Generations used to be my favorite for the longest time, and then like I kept playing other
I'll
games.
just upset everyone right now. The only one I've ever finished is Generations.
Yeah. You've played through the most of Superstars with our brother though.
Yeah. Well, technically I finished that with him.
Oh golly. Yeah, no, like, and then there's Generations Sonic Cross Shadow coming out later this year. That should be interesting. I completely
Interesting.
plan on 100%ing Generations on the Xbox before that happens.
Well,
Because why not?
yeah, fair enough. Better get on that, you know?
I don't know. I kind of want to do it. It won't take that long. Generations is really quick.
Generations is quick. Maybe that's why I
don't
finished
know.
it.
Colors is good. I'm
Colors is
under.
colors.
I remember there's like this huge
Oh,
opinions
that
that
might be the other one
colors.
I finished.
Sorry,
That might be the other one I finished.
possibly. And there's like
I
this
think I
huge
finished that one.
controversial opinion that like about whether colors is good or bad or not. I remember back in way when everyone was like colors is the best, and I was sitting there like, yeah,
What?
it's good.
It is. It's it.
I like playing it. However, like I personally wouldn't consider it the best.
It's there.
I think it's like it took a lot of the elements from Unleashed and toned them down a little bit too much for my liking.
Yeah.
That's my stance on colors.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
it upsets me that they didn't allow like proper drifting and all that sort of thing in the remaster.
Yeah. They
It's all
took
like
drifting out.
part of the level based and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh well. And then like I guess on the topic of Sonic games, I guess Sonic Generations 3DS is one of my favorite Sonic games. Probably not the most liked game that I've seen.
Yeah.
Same as like Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. I really like that game as well.
Yeah.
And I cannot deny that there is some fun to have in the base Sonic Boom on the Wii U.
I think it's one of those things where it's like it's so ridiculous enough that you can just find it hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what it comes down to. Oh golly, what else have we got in the controversial games?
Do we have many controversial opinions?
I feel like we do. However, I should have written down some more. I think.
Yeah, it's like I feel like there's a lot more and I just can't think of them.
Oh golly, so, we can run through our consoles and see off there like what we. We got
I
the
never
Xbox.
thought Nintendo Land was that bad.
Nintendo Land's great. I really
I know,
like
and there's a
Nintendo
lot
Land.
of. I'm pretty sure there's a fair few amount of people that don't really like Nintendo Land or have their gripes with it, and I'm just here like, I actually didn't mind it.
I really like Nintendo Land. I feel like I should play it more. However,
Then again, it might also just be because we had a fair amount, like a fair number of people to play with.
that's true. I think Nintendo really missed something by not calling their theme park Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
That
That'd be
that,
good.
that makes me a little bit upset. I think like when we're looking at like there's probably a bunch of Wii games that we like that a lot of people don't like. Mario
Probably.
Sports Mix, was it?
Oh, Sports Mix, yeah.
I really like Sports Mix. I know a lot of people don't like that.
A younger brother and I finished that.
I really like Sports Mix. I like that it's like
That's a pretty good
Square Enix-ish.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of Square Enix stuff in it.
No one knows what Blastworks is.
Blastworks. I think, was it Scott that I think, was talking about that recently?
The only person who's ever known what Blastworks is.
Oh, golly. Yeah, I think he was talking about it at one point, because it has, like, online level sharing or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Blastworks. I like Blastworks, despite how I cannot go back to it because of how it plays.
Yeah, that's fair.
But back in the wild days of the Wii, I used to play that a lot.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh golly, what else have we got on the Wii? Probably a lot. I mean, we like the
Probably
new
something.
Super Mario Bros. Games.
Yeah.
I always like new Super Mario Brothers Wii. It's really good.
Yeah, New Soup. I'm like, anytime someone is like, hey, you want to play some New Soup? I'm like, yeah.
New Soup.
Give me a yellow toad. We're all good.
Yeah, so I like being Blue Toad.
Yeah.
Nobody knows their names though.
I can only remember Buck and Mary.
Buckenberry is the blue one, and Ala Gold is
Yeah.
the yellow one.
I never remember yellow one for some reason.
Yeah, Ala Gold. I wish they were like always named.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun if, like in Mario Wonder, they were named as well.
Respect
Yeah.
for the toads.
Respect- I guess Sonic Superstars is a pretty controversial game to talk about.
Is it?
Yeah, it didn't meet Sega's sales expectations, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Whether that's a look on the game or not, whether people liked it or not. I think, like,
Could just be that people had low expectations in general and kind of just went, oh, maybe I'll skip this one.
probably. I don't know. To
Which
me,
is possible.
I think a lot of its art style almost makes it look a little bit budgety.
Yeah.
Like, like Sonic 4, almost a little
Yeah.
bit. However, like, it's a lot better than Sonic 4.
Yeah. Oh, is there controversy over Heroes?
Heroes. Sonic Heroes?
Sonic Heroes?
I think there is. There's a little
What is
bit
it,
of...
the PS2 version?
The PS2 version. The PS2 version is a broken, very broken mess of Sonic Heroes.
Hilarious, but broken.
Oh, really? Sonic Heroes, yeah, I think it's a fairly controversial game. I think it's more because of its departure from the adventure games.
Yeah.
I guess
true.
what we're going into a tangent on Sonic games here. However, I guess like what
Yeah.
is a controversial game nowadays is Sonic Adventure.
What?
Yeah.
I need a remake of that game.
Oh, we do. We really. I think it drastically needs a remake more than like Generations needs a remaster.
I'll finish it this time.
Finish it this time. Yeah. I think it's got like enough glitches and problems that it really needs a remake to make it shine a bit better.
Yeah.
However, like it's fun. It's simply fun to play.
New Chaos graphics.
New Chaos. Yeah, I want to see what Chaos
Watery
looks
blob.
like. I want to see
It
what
looks
he,
like blobfish.
I want to see what he looks like actually with his forms, not like in Forces where
Yeah.
he's like, oh, that's a controversial game. Sonic Forces.
Oh, Sonic Forces.
I like Sonic Forces.
I didn't think it was that bad.
People don't like Sonic Forces. I like Sonic Forces.
There are, again, like everything ever, there are issues with it, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah. I don't think my expectations were extraordinarily high for it. That might be a good
Yeah,
reason
that
why
might
I
be it
liked
too.
it. Like the story is all over the place, and classic Sonic doesn't need to be there at all. Like
Oh, yeah.
for what the game is itself, honestly, I know people are probably going to get upset with this. I would put it on the same level as Colors.
I put it a bit lower, but it's still not too low.
I don't think the story is as good as Colors, although I don't think Sonic Colors' story is like overwhelmingly great. Like,
Yeah.
however, like the gameplay is really similar in Colors and Forces.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
almost as automated as each other and have lots of like 2D sections. It's
Yeah.
like I think the biggest problem with Forces is like its reuse of zones, classic Sonic's inclusion in general.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's a lot of it's just like, oh, I've been here before.
Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know, yeah, the story was definitely the biggest problem with Forces.
The story.
However, I didn't mind, like, I've seen people complain about the animation in Forces. However, in my opinion, the animation in
Oh.
Forces is better than Frontiers.
I don't mind the animation in Forces.
I went through, did I do it? I may have done it in a video at one point where I talked about, like, one of the opening cutscenes in Forces. And, like,
Yeah.
went through it frame by frame. I think I did a video on it. I might be wrong. However, like I went through like frame by frame and looked at how Sonic moved and everything like that, and it's got all the squash and stretch and the nice. It's really well
Yeah.
animated. However, like, oh really, you know, Sonic Forces is its own being. Anyway, any other
You did.
sort of
There's one I can
controversial?
think of. It won't affect you in any way, but it has very interesting and very, very prominent problems. But I don't mind Fire Emblem Fates.
Fates? Yeah,
That's
I've
a
heard
big
that's
one as
not
well.
the most liked.
I don't mind it at all.
I always like the idea that they didn't give shoes to Corrin simply because they can show that the characters have feet now.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
I know, like,
Look.
what were the two that were on the DS that weren't that popular?
well, Fate.
Like on the base DS.
I don't know. Which ones were they?
Isn't there like the Shadow Dragon remakes?
Oh, yeah, they were on there, weren't they?
They weren't that popular.
They might not be.
I don't know. I
what
don't know
is
whether
it?
they weren't popular because they weren't liked or they weren't played or what.
Shadows of Valencia, which I'm only partway through, it also has issues that are very understandable as to why people don't like them. Or don't like those issues.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad either. Then again, I'm not all the way done, so don't know.
See, I think, even though I haven't played it, when I get to Kirby Star Allies, I will probably like that as well. I know people don't like that game as much.
Yeah.
I'll probably enjoy it for the sake of enjoying it.
Yeah.
I tend to like games that people don't.
Yeah.
However, yeah. Unless there's any more, that might wrap it up for that topic in general. How are the polls this week?
How are the polls this week?
The Fire Emblem polls.
I believe, when it lets me go into it. Okay. So, our NPC Archer is still winning.
For the one from Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn.
Was it Radiant Dawn? Yeah, that one. His name is 313 Archer.
His name is 313 Archer.
I think it's because the chapter is 313.
Okay. I like that he's winning.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Second to him was Etier.
Yay, Etier.
And they haven't done the results for the last two yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
But it seems that, because I can see the percentages still.
Yeah.
And it seems that Bernadetta and, God, he says his name as Alchrist, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Well, because I always say it as Alchrist, but I think it's Alchrist.
Probably.
Anyway, those two are winning in that one. Poor old Ash is coming last. Oh, that's a controversial character. You probably won't know, but poor old Ash from Three Houses. He's he's adorable. He's such a bean. But then people are like, oh, he does terribly in battles, so like, what's the point of him? And he's like, one note. And I'm like, no, protect the cinnamon roll. He's so...
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, golly. I guess another quick controversial opinion. You said Ash, and it reminded me of a different Ash. Pokemon X and Y's anime is probably my favorite Pokemon anime.
Yes.
Ash should have won.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, is that it for the polls?
The other one is Shamir, who's also from Three Houses, is winning, and Takumi is second.
Oh, okay.
Pineapple Boy's second.
Do you think like the Three Houses one is mainly because like people like are very much in tone with Three Houses?
People really like it, and it's also one of the most recent.
Yeah, that's right. Shall we set a poll for this week?
I don't know. What's it going to be on?
Controversial opinions.
Controversial opinion.
Should we pick a game based on our controversial opinions here, or should we like which controversial game is most liked or something like that?
Oh.
And we can pick a game out of our what we've said here and put them all in there.
Yeah, we could do that.
I think that'd be fun, and then we can read out the results next week.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Alrighty. However, a little bit of a shorter podcast today.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which is pretty good. I said it was going to be within like half an hour to an hour long usually.
Yep.
And we've passed half an hour. And I'm going to switch the podcast, even though it's the second one. I'm going to switch it to be on Thursday nights in Australia instead, because it gives us a little bit more time for editing, and if something happens to happen, we can record the next day as well, type thing, if need be. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast, despite it not being hugely planned and us talking about controversial things for the most part.
Seems to be our favourite topic.
Yeah. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and we shall be back next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers. 2.0.